very good morning here from the second day of the OTR Supersprint at Tailem Bend. I'm joined this morning by three-time Supercar champion and seven-time Bathurst 1000 winner, Craig Lowndes. Very good morning, Lowndesy.
Yeah, it's great. Look, today's a little bit nicer day in the sense of the weather. Yesterday was unbelievable about the conditions the drivers had to encounter, but today looks much nicer. Still cool, but looks like less rain.
Yeah, yesterday was bitterly cold, wasn't it? But the racing was action-packed, and both you and I were speaking about this morning. We've geared up today to deal with the weather, and it feels far better. It's currently at about 11 degrees, feels like 8, so that wind chill factor has dropped off a little bit today versus yesterday. I think conditions for racing will be much, much better. On the subject of racing, Lowndesy, look, there was a lot of chat during the week about the passing opportunities that this West Circuit, the shorter West Circuit, was going to provide. What were your thoughts on overtaking yesterday?
I thought it was fantastic. I think we all talked about turn 6. Normally you'd be going from the right-hand side of the road turning left, but now you're going from the left-hand side turning right. So I suppose the muscle memory for drivers have got to make sure that as you're approaching it, you're not trying to do the international circuit. So it really was fascinating to see. I thought there would be more passing in that zone, to be honest, because it was quite wide, and we did see a little bit of a tangle up between Todd Hazelwood and Rick Kelly, but other than that, it was all pretty smooth. But then that series of rights leading back onto the normal track was really intense, and I think that drivers were right in between gears, whether you go from second to third, back to second, or whether you hold second and just run it on the limiter, which most people did. But the racing was fantastic, as you said. And the one thing that we didn't see yesterday that we saw last week was any tyre problems, and I think that was really a factor of those three big long right-handers in the old configuration track. So look, it's going to be fantastic and fascinating today to see what happens now, knowing what drivers know from yesterday, how much more aggressive they can be on the cars today.
There'll be a lot learned overnight, that's for sure. And you're right, that sequence of corners, turn 7 through to 11, that are just constantly turning right, put a lot of load on that left rear tyre, for sure. I think that today teams and engineers will be far more aggressive on strategy. I think we'll see camber levels get up, particularly on that left rear. That generally equals grip levels. That generally equals faster time and more confidence for the drivers. So I think the racing today will be very different to what we saw yesterday.
Oh, absolutely, and this is fantastic. I love this place because right above pit lane is all obviously the accommodation. I just saw Chaz Mostert poke his head out, but he's just gone back inside. So it's fantastic to obviously be here locally on the track. Obviously, yeah, the cars are waking them up right now, and drivers have been able to have an opportunity to actually go between races, go and have showers, get rest, and get organised. But it's a great location here.
And the beauty of this facility being here, you can see the size of it. It basically means that the Supercars teams up and down the pit lane, they have all stayed here for the last 2 weeks. We are in a hub. We are not moving around freely. And as you mentioned, we could just see Chaz Mostert being woken up by the sports cars that are first race out on track today. So on Fox 506 today, we will be going live at 9:30 Australian Eastern Standard Time. The gang back there in Jess Yates and Neil Crompton, Mark Scaife, they will take us on air, and then 9:10 will be the first Supercars qualifying session this morning. Plenty of action to cover there, and it'll be that. And that'll be that shotgun qualifying session that we saw where they are back-to-back with a very short break in between. So that's 9:40 that we will go live for qualifying. Shane Howard behind us there. He's just grabbed his morning coffee. Very good morning, Shane Howard. So we'll go for a bit of a wander down through here. We'll have a look in the back of the Walkinshaw and Dredder United garages. We have come from the pit lane out to the back now, Lowndesy, because sports cars are out. All the garage doors goes down so that sports car teams can't come through and interact with the supercars teams. There is the potential today that this championship could get wrapped up, and we're going to end up down at Scott McLaughlin's garage. What are your thoughts on that? What are the probability, I guess, of Scotty being able to wrap that up today?
Oh, look, pretty high. I think that if you look at his ability to qualify up the front, and when he doesn't, also have the car speed during the race, the tyre life that he had last week, which we talked about, but we're not facing that this weekend, but his speed, he can create that out of that car, and also just consistency. We saw at the end of that sort of race yesterday, Shane Van Gisbergen pitted later, he had a better tyre, but still couldn't find a way past him. So, look, there's a high probability. I hope there's not, because I'm joining Jamie for Bathurst in a couple of weeks' time, and we want to go there and try and clinch a championship as well as a Bathurst win.
And conversely, on the opposite side of the spectrum, you've dealt with Jamie for a long, long time, teammates for a long time. You'll be sharing a car with him this week, in 2 weeks' time when we get to Bathurst. I want to ask you, he came out last night and he said we just need to focus on our own game a little bit. Does that suggest that they were, within that garage, and particularly on that side of the garage, worrying a little bit too much about what Shell V-Power Racing were doing?
Look, I think so. I think that, there's part of it is obviously you want to keep an eye on your competitor, but you don't want to be watching them all the time. And I think that really, for Jamie to say that is just a little bit of an indication that maybe they have focused a little bit outside their window a little bit too much. The one thing that I've got to get my head around is his steering wheel. So he's got this GT style of steering wheel, which really is fascinating. I like it. I don't know whether it's... I think today... got to make sure that the cars are speedy straight up.
And look, mate, I just want to give you a little pep talk here. When you're three-time champion of the series, 7 times Bathurst champion, I think you'll be fine with his new GT steering wheel. Let's back yourself there, Lounsey. I'm going to bomb Brock Feeney here. Brock, you had a run yesterday in the rookie session. How was that for you? First time in a Mustang, first time in a supercar. You look like you held yourself pretty well.
Yeah, no, it was great out there, mate. Good to jump in the Mustang before we head to Bathurst. So it was the first time in the Tickford one, and just to be here with the team this weekend and see how it all operates, and just have a feel for what the car's like. So it was great. No seat insert or anything like that. Jumped straight in. It was all good to go.
And coming from Toyota 86 a couple of years ago through Super 3, you were in Super 2 this year, to then move straight into the Supercars Championship series. Was there a little bit of pressure on yourself, or do you feel like you just dealt with that mentally yesterday, first time out on track? Yeah,
no, exactly. That was a good thing about this, is to get a taste of it, feel what it's going to be like. When we rock up to Bathurst, obviously racing Lounsey and a few of the guys that you look up to. So it's been something I've dreamed of for a long time, and to finally get the opportunity is a big relief on myself. But I feel like I've put in a lot of work in the last couple of years to get to this spot, and I'm thankful that the team have picked me for the job.
Certainly a great opportunity. Brock, we like to wish you all the best for your first Bathurst 1000, and no doubt you'll have a ball up there.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
It's great, isn't it?
It is absolutely great to see young guys like that getting an opportunity. And look, he did a ripper job yesterday. Not only him, but all the other rookie guys that were out there, and there's a few of them. Jordan Boys as well as having his first run in the 1000K race. So it'll be really, really cool. We can't wait to get there in a couple of weeks, but we've got some racing today. Firstly, Lounsey, what's your tip? Who's your tip for the 2 races?
Well, I think that you can't go past Scotty McLaughlin at the moment, because his speed is really incredible. But in saying that, we saw some great speed out of Cam Waters, out of these garage. So it really is something that I'm hoping that a Shane Van Gisbergen or a Cam Waters or even a Chaz Mostert, we saw last weekend he was quite quick, that they step up today.
Yeah, and I'm with you. I think Cam Waters, for me, is the roughie today. He looks hungry, he's talking it, he wants it, and he looked deflated with a third yesterday, and that's a pretty good thing. So we hope you enjoyed the preview today here on Paddock Pass Live, powered by Repco. Once again, we are going live at 9:30 Australian Eastern Standard Time on Fox Sports.